such an unusual idea. Did something inspire you to talk about the clitoris?
Well, I feel like my whole life led up to making cliteracy, frankly. There was a million things. There certainly wasn't just one aha moment. I think I've been shocked that the clitoris is never talked about. I think my whole life. I think that there was maybe a few things specifically, but that it kind of was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And one of them was learning that someone close to me who was passing away had never had an orgasm. She'd given birth to 5 children, and she'd been sexually active her whole life, and she never had an orgasm. And this was a secret. And the fact that she went through life without experiencing this basic pleasure that her body, I'm almost certain, could have had if her husband had cared and if she had felt comfortable to advocate for herself and known that it was okay, could have been completely different. And sadly, this is the truth not only for her, but for scores of women, and it's happening to this day. So I'm interested in power and how power is represented visually, and I was shocked that everywhere the female body is used as this metaphor for sexuality, is used to sell products, is exposed, and yet the sexual organ of the women has only been discovered in its true anatomy, a few years ago in the scheme of things, and it's really unknown to this day. And scores of women are having bad sex all the time. I mean, I wouldn't even say they're having sex, it's like they're being masturbated inside of. And I think we need to actually make a distinction between sex, which is about pleasure, and therefore everyone is entitled to pleasure, and reproduction, which is its own aim, and that's fine. And it can overlap with sex, but if half of the population's bodies are being used for masturbation, that's a problem. And I think that there are many people that they want to please their partner, they want to please their lover, they don't know how. The society doesn't teach them. If anything, the society totally misleads them. And I think that also women are misled about their bodies. And so at some point, we have to have a real conversation. We have to say the emperor has no clothes. We have to say the clitoris is the female sexual organ. The penis is the male sexual organ. They're both amazing. That's great. Acknowledge them constantly, continuously. And until you do that, yes, you can't drive a car and press the brake, right? If you want to make something go, you press the gas. If you want a woman to orgasm, touch her where her 8,000 nerves are. This is just basic anatomy.
Why do you think it's so important for people to know about this, and why do you think it's so powerful to change things? What do you think can change?
I don't think that one can be fully free and be fully a citizen if they're ashamed about their body, and if they're not accessing their birthright of pleasure in their own body, which is totally natural. It's sort of akin to we go out every night together, we both pay for the food, you eat the steak, the pasta, the vegetables, I eat bread and water. I'm not dead, I'm alive. I paid the same amount of money and I got almost no pleasure. I got just enough to survive. And that's kind of the way that things are right now for a lot of women, and it's completely preventable. I mean, the great news is that anyone can become cliterate very easily. You just need a little bit of information, and you need to go home by yourself with your lover, explore your own body, listen to your lover, explore their body, have them tell you what feels good, and you can kind of solve this problem. And so that is very liberating, and that's very positive. But we have to be able to talk about this. And the fact that we can't talk about this is highly political, and it is an issue of citizenship. And it's totally connected to the fight for reproductive justice, to the fight against sexual violence, all of these things. As long as the female body is treated as shameful and taboo, and only is allowed to exist, it's not allowed to have pleasure, women can't be free citizens.
So why have you come to Tedx Salford, and what do you think is so good about it?
Why did I come, and what do I think is so good about it? Well, I came because it was an opportunity to share this project with a huge audience. And I was thrilled to be in Manchester in this strong labor town, leftist town with progressive politics, young people, the birthplace of the Smiths, Stone Roses, and to talk about cliteracy. And this is really a populist project. And I was thrilled that the organizers invited me not in the context of this is a women's issue, this is this private sexual matter. No, this is about our social discourse. This is about the issues of our time and ideas that need to be spread, and certainly cliteracy is an idea that needs to be spread. You know, the clit deserves so much better than what it's had, and I just want to do it justice, frankly, you know, and it's a lot of work to be done. I mean, I feel like if all I said for the rest of my life was clit, 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 I mean, it wouldn't be enough. It's like spitting into the ocean, right? But it's starting. I mean, momentum is gathering, and every time that I talk, more people start to talk about cliteracy. More people start to like rock a solid gold clit t-shirt with pride, you know, men and women. And it becomes part of the consciousness. People start seeing cliteracy, making clit puns, clit jokes, and bringing it into the world in this way that like they never had before, you know? I would say after this conference, I mean, this word is going to be used by the people that came here probably more in the next day than they've used it in their entire life combined, you know, which is like sad in one way, but also really positive in another way. And so it's like once you know about cliteracy, you can't unknow about it. It's like even if you're like against it, you're like, I want to be ill-cliterate. Okay, right? You're still promoting cliteracy by fighting for ill-cliteracy. So it has a lovely power that like kind of, it's compelling in a way that like it can't really be, like the logic of it is really hard to sort of undermine, which is exciting. I just would say that cliteracy is about everybody. You know, cliteracy is really, it's a call for everyone to be free in their body, for all of us to be able to be sexual without shame. And that's equally for men and women, for queer and straight. It's the idea that we are allowed to have pleasure in our body, and that's okay. And we actually have sovereignty over our own bodies, and that includes the right to decide our own sexuality. There's nothing wrong with that. And the clit is a symbol. It's not just an organ. It's a symbol of our right to pleasure. It's a symbol of our right to freedom.